My peoples, what's good, my peopleizations, man? What's good? Miss TTUK, peace and blessings, Queen. Maurice McElroy, salute. Mark Wonderlick, salute. What's shaking? Hey, well, y'all anticipate, man. I wonder if y'all can hear us when we start, man, before we even start. That trips me out, man. Jay West, Eric Jenkins, Star City J, Derek McGee, Marcos Canoa, Omega Red, Talib Cunningham, Mike Biggs. Salute to my people. Salute, salute. Check Hook, salute. Cards Cash Rewards, salute. Kel C, salute. Hey, Kurt, go ahead and talk, Kurt, just to make sure they can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, sir. What's going on? Eric Jenkins, man. Jay West, Kel C, what's going on? Chuck Hook, Mike Hennigan, my brother. You know, Rick Boy, Florida, Jacob Hubbard, what's going on? Marcus Johnson, what's up, man? Mr. Male Advice, what's good? What's good? The Cali Enigma Sports Entertainment, my brother Cali, what's going on, fam? Omega Red, what's up, man? The King Allah, Brick City Brethren, man, what's going on with you, man? Cold in the bricks today, ain't it? Wayne Jr., what's good? Corey Yellowman Jackson, what's up, man? Talib Cullingham, Young Zeus, Mike Big Fox, and Mike, what's going on with you, man? It's been a minute, man. You know, what's going on, man? Cash Rewards, salute to you, man. Mark Wonderling, the Utah Utes in the house, man. Yeah, you know what? Utah always had it. It's a very underrated sports city, man. You know, people love these sports in Utah. Michael James, 616. Jay West, can y'all hear me loud and clear? Microphone check 1 2.
Yeah, it is. Utah is very underrated. And you know what it is? It's like their college team's always good. The basketball teams are good. They might not always win they don't win championships, but they're good quality.
Yeah, Utah football team, you know, I remember they beat the pants off Alabama that year. They fly under the radar. Lee Corso to pick them to go be in the Final Four, but they lost. They lost to USC in the surprise. But they always there though. Mm-hmm. Basketball, they went to the championship with what's that point guard? Andre Miller, I believe his name. He played for the Nuggets, but you know, very underrated, man. Very underrated.
Mm-hmm. Andre Miller. I liked Andre Miller. He didn't have too many special effects, but he was very effective.
Sure was, man. He sure was.
My brother Bish, B Megastar, AB, Ty King Alive, Woolbag, the Cali Enigma Sports and Entertainment. What's going on with you, Cali? Hey, Kurt, you want to have Cali jump on with us? Dane Watson, salute.
It don't matter. Hey, no matter to me. Don't matter to me.
Cali, you want to jump on with us, bro? Hey, Kurt, let me ask you what you think about Tony Boswell, salute. Eric Jenkins, salute. Avery Apendo, salute. Harold Jones, salute. Hey, I figured out how to do the wrenches, too. You guys should have wrenches. Let me know if y'all got y'all wrenches, man, because I can't see them. I can't see if y'all have the wrenches, but I tried to give out some wrenches, man. I was able to, I Googled it yesterday, so I tried to give out some wrenches, man. Let me know if y'all got your wrenches, man. Curry, what you think about a possibility of Shannon Briggs replacing Joseph Parker or Jarrell Big Baby Miller? Derek Chisora offered Jarrell Big Baby Miller to fight, and he's supposedly offering Wayne Jr. When the stream ends, I don't have one on your other channel. Wayne Jr. said, I don't have one on your other channel. You got one here, but not on the other channel? Chef Boyardee, salute. Talib Cunningham, I had wrenched you up. Do me a favor, Talib Cunningham. When the stream is over, when we finish, when we get off, go comment on the stream. Just say, what's good, Blue? Anything, right? comment so I can find it, because if you don't do it, then then I can't find you to rent you up. So Chef Boyardee, who was it? Mark Wunderlich. If you didn't have a wrench when the stream ends, comment on this stream or go comment on another stream right now. Yeah, Terry Smoot. Do me a favor, Terry Smoot. I couldn't find you yesterday. So Terry Smoot, go to one of the other streams. Go to yesterday's stream and just comment, "What's up, Blue?" And then I'll be able to rent you up. But you got to go comment on that on the old stream for me to rent you up for whatever reason. Kurt, I got to wait until I got to do it on the old stream to rent him up. I can't do it while we live.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Trick Nolte, salute. KP from KC, salute. No, I'll be taking calls in a second. Yeah, so Kurt, what you think about that? Derek Chisora saying that he want to fight Jarrell Big Baby Miller or Shannon Briggs, man. This is the mindset that we ask these guys to have, man. You know what I'm saying? He could just be like, yo, my opponent pulled out. Give me Joe Schmo, but he still want Jarrell Miller or Shannon Briggs. What you think about that, Kurt?
I don't want to see Shannon Briggs, man. He's like 135 years old, man. He's a powerful. I don't want to see him. There should be a limit, an age limit in boxing, because what happens if you get hurt because of the age, he ain't going to recover, and then there's going to be a black eye in the sport of boxing. It'd be tragic. And the first thing people be saying is he shouldn't have been fighting his age. I would like to see Big Dummy Miller get back in the ring, and try his luck to see how he looked. That would be a very interesting fight. If Big Dummy looks good, and then people's going to start be like, oh, maybe he has some skills despite him cheating, but if he looks bad and get knocked out, and then people going to say, well, it was the drug. No big man can throw all them punches. So I would rather see Jarrell Big Baby Miller, and Derek Chisora fight. That's a very interesting fight in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. I'm a little biased because Shannon Briggs is my guy. So I want to see him get an opportunity, even though, like you say, he's old, man. But I'm a little biased with it, man. I know I shouldn't be, but it's my guy. So, and he a cool dude, man. Actually, he was gonna come on the show yesterday, but he had a lot he was doing. By the time he would have came on, it was too late for us.
Right.
But I'm definitely gonna get him on, man. And but he's 47 years of age, I believe.
Yeah, man. I don't like to see like real old dudes come back, man. I know he got to feed his family, but I'm worried about him getting hurt because Chisora can't punch. You see what he did to Spilker.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, Holyfield and Oliver McCall trying to make comebacks. I mean, the commission should be like, nah, at a certain age, you ain't allowed to fight no more because I don't want to see nobody get hurt, man. So, I like the Briggs, man, but stay away, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a dangerous sport, man, and they say the brain just can't take it, especially when you get to a certain age, man. Once you get over 40 years old, the brain gets shook up. So, it's definitely a dangerous place to be when you're an older gentleman, man. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you, man. But it's a catch-22 for me, like I stated, because Shannon is my guy and I want to see him get the opportunity. But on the other hand, just like you said, man, he's in a danger zone. He's in a danger area. So yeah, you're right. Man, it could get ugly, man. It could get ugly quick. So I definitely agree with what you're saying, man. But let's start off by saying this, man. What's the salute to everybody in the building? Christopher Jeanette, Corey Yellowman Jackson. We just trying to wait for a little more people to get in the building, man. Jafari Caesar, Mike Hennigan, Corin Thomas. Who did that? Salute. Antonio Mendoza, salute. Black Bruce Wayne Jr., salute. Roderick Thomas, salute. Mike Weary, salute. Golden Glove, salute. Mr. 21 Strong, salute. Trick Nolte, salute. Hey, if any of you guys are my moderators, Super Davey 316, salute. Eric Jenkins, salute. Randy S, salute. You guys are normally moderators. Marcos Cano on the other channel, Terry Smoot. I figured out how to do it, how to moderate you guys, but you guys have to go over to the videos, the old videos, the Zenith 360, salute. Drink More Water, salute. Seth Rosenoff, salute. Boxing Good, salute. Real 6 SB90, salute. Sarala Chapash Ben Yawadaha. I mean, y'all know I can't read putting up these big names, man. Come on, man. Bo One, salute. Clifton Brunson, salute. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Kurt? See some of these names, man. Come on, man. Thomas Moreland, salute. You got to go over to an old video. Go to yesterday's stream, yesterday's video, and just comment "What's good, Blue," and then I'll be able to. If you're a moderator, and I know some of y'all it's some new dudes that's gonna come in there talking about "What's up, Blue." I know who's who, man. So don't try to fool me, man. Don't try to pull the okie doke. So go over there and put "What's good, Blue," and then I'll mod you up, man. I know who's who, so don't try to pull the okie doke on me, man. You know what
Blue,
I mean?
Before you say something, I got an idea, man. With the show is popping because of the chat. Y'all be in the chat before we get started. We're gonna have a chat appreciation day where we're gonna take a vote and see what y'all want to talk about. You know, when there's a lull in between fights, not the week of the fight because we're gonna build on that like this week, and we got fights all throughout October, but we appreciate y'all showing up, man, and showing out. You guys are very knowledgeable about the sport of boxing, man, and we're going to have a chat appreciation day.
Yeah, I'm all for that, man. Whenever you want to do it, man. Boston South D-Town, salute. Christopher Jeanette said I'm a mod on this one. Okay, I'm talking to the people that's not mods. If you're a normal mod on the big channel and you're not a mod here and you're normally a mod, go click on yesterday's stream and comment "What's good, Blue," and I'll mod you up. Joe Brown, salute. But you got to click on. You can't do it on this screen, so don't try to do it on here and then be like, "Blue, what happened?" Winston Lee, salute. Dookie Dreadlock, salute. You got to do it on a yesterday stream. Just comment on yesterday's stream, "What's good, Blue," and I'll mod you up. Jafari Caesar, salute. I know who's who, so so I know somebody gonna try to slip through the cracks. Like, yo, I was not mod up on the other channel. Don't try to get me because I already know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Kurt, you wanna let's. You know what, Kurt? I was thinking you want to start taking calls early, and then I'll see if the special guests come on at like 7.
Yeah, we can take calls. Absolutely, man. Let it rip, man.
Okay.
I'm always interested to see what the people got to say.
All right. Hold on, I got a call over. Hello. Go ahead, Kurt. You could cook. Hello.
Yeah, chat. Trick Nolte. Make sure you go to yesterday's show so you get rinsed up.
Sorry
so
about
you
that.
Guys
sorry about that.
What you said?
No, I was saying sorry about that, man. I missed
okay. So tell me, guys, what fight you looking forward to the most? Triple G and Deverenchenko or Clarissa Shields? Are you interested in seeing Jaron Ennis? Let's talk about it before we get situated until, Blue get the phones while I'm going. And what fight you want to talk about the most? Triple G, for some reason, man, this fight been quiet, man. And so it goes to show you his star is not as bright as before. Hardly nobody talking about the Deverenchenko fight. So do you think Deverenchenko going to be competitive, or do you think Triple G going to knock him out in 4 rounds? It could be either or. It depends on what Deverenchenko shows up, man. So, I'm interested. I want to see what Triple G got. You got a new trainer, and, we definitely want to see Clarissa Shields, the GOAT, and Jaron Ennis fighting on the undercard, so there's a big weekend of boxing once again, the whole month of October. I can't wait for that Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor fight. Woo, that's coming up. And don't forget, October 18th, we got Alexander Vosnik versus Artur Beterbiev. That's going to be a barn burner. If Vosnik get caught, It's Good Night Irene. Better be. He's got heavy hands, man. You know, so that's a very underrated fight. That's flying under the radar. You know, so that's the month of October, man. And November 7th, we got Noya Nui versus Nonito Donaire. November 23rd, we got Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. December 7th, we got Joshua and Ruiz. And let me tell you, Blue, the Harrison fight, is that fight official? Harrison Charlo for December 14th?
It's not official yet for December 14th. They may move it to December 21st, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the following Saturday, from my understanding. So, but it's definitely going to be the week of the 14th. I mean the week December. But as far as the is the 14th or not, it's not set in stone. But you know, it's either going to be. Let me see the date. It's going to be the 14th or let's see, what is it? Or the 21st. Yeah, it's either going to be the 14th or the 21st. Somebody even told me it's a possibility they may move it up to December 7th. So it's definitely going to be one of those 3 weeks, but they're not sure.
Man, I can't wait for that rematch. It's been a banner year boxing, and last year I was getting ready to walk away. And you know, but you know, just goes to show you, hey, they put some fights together. We had some upsets. We had some great fights, man. And you know, I ain't going nowhere, man. Plus, talking is boxing. You know, this brotherhood we got going on, man. We don't care, rich, poor, you know, fat, skinny, tall, short, black or white. We don't care. We just want to talk boxing. That's it. It's a brotherhood. You know, if you don't know nothing or if you know a lot, it don't really matter. As long as we can come together and talk this boxing ish. Absolutely.
I agree, man. You know, the sport of boxing is heated right now. It's hot, man. You know, and we getting all types of meaningful fights, not just any old fight, Kurt. We get meaningful fights. This fight for Clarissa Shields is creating history. She's gonna become, she's gonna become a world champion in multiple weight classes faster than anybody in the sport of boxing, faster than Vasyl Lomachenko. So this fight that she has coming up Saturday means something. Even the Triple G fight, you know, that fight has, you know, he's gonna become, what is it, a 3-time world champion if he wins, you know. So that has implications, and then he has histories with Sergey Derevyanchenko. You know, Jaron Ennis fight is not so meaningful outside of just putting his name back out there. You know what I'm saying? His last fight wasn't showcased on TV. This fight is the co-main event on a huge card. Not to mention Clarissa Shields is headlining another card. You know, so these fights are meaningful, man. We're not just getting Joe Schmo versus John Doe. You know what I'm saying? Just to watch some boxing. No, these fights have implications on them. You know what I'm saying? So, and I mean, listen, it's just getting bigger. And let's not forget, right around the corner is Canelo's Kovalev. That's November. Yeah, that's November 2nd.
I forgot about that fight. See?
Yeah.
Great. I can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, man, by the day, man. You know, the sport of boxing is hot. You know, as far as people consistently saying the sport of boxing is no more and all of that, man, oh man. If they only knew, you know, if they only knew the fights that's being talked about behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? So, listen, we got Wilder versus Ortiz. That's November 23rd. We got Kovalev, Canelo. That's November 2nd. You know what I'm saying? We got so many fights, man. These months are going to fly by. They're going to fly by, man, because, you know, it's like every other week we're going to be getting big fights. We're going to be getting big fights, you know, and we don't have nothing next weekend, right, Curry?
Let me see. I'm thinking. I think we do. I just got an intuition that we do. I got to check my schedule, man. Maybe something on the zone Yeah, Oscar Valdez, I gotta check it out. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But hey, a lot of people don't mess with the zone, but I love boxing way too much not to have the zone, man. Anywhere with boxing, I go. I look at the Mexican channel, every Saturday night. That's where Jaime Munguia came from. That's where Manuel Navarrete came from. It's called Being Boxing. There's a Mexican channel, and they show old fights, and they have special guests like Chavez and Juan Manuel Marquez. I've been watching, boxing on Spanish TV ever since I was a kid. It was called Galavision. And with a boxing goal, I go. I just love boxing, man. It's my true love, man. It's my passion, man. Me and boxing go together like peanut butter and jelly, man. So, people often ask me, how come I know so much about boxing? I say, well, it's my father. My father, used to have this big old cigar, and he used to take it out of his mouth and be like, boy, when I get finished with you, you're going to know boxing inside and out. His name was Calvin Lee Vines. He grew up as an amateur fighter. He's from Suffolk, Virginia. All my uncles, Uncle Rayfield and Uncle Frankie. My Uncle Rayfield called my father. This was 1975, Blue and Sack. And I remember as a kid, I was like 8 years old, 9 years old. And he said, we got a boy down in Maryland, because he lived on the outskirts of Palmer Park, Maryland. And he said, we got a boy named Raymond Leonard. They say he's going to go to the 76 Olympic team. He's going to be special. I want to see him. He was talking about Sugar Ray Leonard. So, that's just, part of my pedigree, man. I can go on and on about stories about fighters, man, coming up. And Lenny Shaw, Jim, man, I'm proud of, that I feel like I've been blessed listening to Art Rush Jr. from New York, man, on WABC radio, man, and, talking to Bert Sugar. And he was like, maybe I should give you my fedora cigar. That idiot over in Europe talking about I shouldn't be called Kurt Sugar, but that idiot don't know that, I used to talk to Bert Sugar, and he offered me his fedora cigar, and be listening, I'll blow your doors off. So, don't mention my name, again. So you can go ahead and cook, Blue.
Yeah, these dudes don't understand, man, how, it's just like, I'm not a historian like the brother Kurt. I know the sport of boxing, but I'm not a historian like that, but my grandfather and my kins had me hooked on the Yankees, and people ask me, how you become a Yankee fan? Well, I grew up on 155th and 8th Avenue in Harlem. And if you know anything about that, that's the Polo Grounds, the Rucker Park, that's the Colonial Projects. And you're looking across the river, and the first thing you see right across the river is Yankee Stadium lit up. You know what I'm saying? Every day, day in and day out. And then, my grandfather was a San Francisco 49er fan. How he become a and I keep saying my grandfather. It's my great grandfather. Excuse me. Right. So it's my great grandfather, and he was a 49er fan. How he became a 49er fan, I couldn't tell you, but he was a 49er fan. He was a Yankee fan. My uncles are Yankee fans, and those are dudes that I looked up to. And so that's how I became, Yankees and 49er fan. And then my aunt, who we lost last year, so God rest her soul. But she was a huge Reggie Theus fan. She loved Reggie Theus, man.
Pretty boy.
Yeah. She loved Reggie Theus, boy. And she was a Detroit Piston fan. And then she ended up and remember Reggie Theus went to the Bulls. She followed his career. And when he went to the Bulls, she became a fan of the Bulls simply because of Reggie Theus. And she was, my favorite. I only had two aunts, my mother's aunt, my mother's sister, and my father's sister. And unfortunately, Kurt, I lost them 3 weeks apart. Both had massive heart attacks 3 weeks apart.
Wow.
Yeah, and those the only two aunts I had, man. So and ironically enough, not to be be a Debbie Downer, but ironically enough, they without even knowing, they're buried right across. Their graves are right across from each other. I mean, you can stand in the middle of the street and just turn your head to the left or the right, and they're both right there. So
that's Wow, that's some story, man. That's how you became a 49er fan, huh?
Yep, that's how I became 49er, Bulls, and Yankee fan. Yep.
Oh man, remember something, Blue? 1977 in New York was crazy. You had the blackout,
Yeah.
and you had the Yankees winning the World Series, and you had Son of Sam running around. He had the city in terror and fear. You know, David Berkowitz. He was a serial killer, and he was just walking up to people and shooting them in their car. People would go to Lover's Lane, and it was scary.
And it was hot.
It was scary.
Woo, it was hot that year.
It was just crazy, man. And that's the year I became a Yankee fan when they got swept by the Cincinnati Reds in '76. And Reggie Jackson, one of my favorite players of all time, man. I became a Steelers fan in '75 when my mother bought one of those metal lunch buckets. Remember with the superheroes on them?
Yeah, man.
The Steelers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey Kurt, I had two of those, man. I had I had the Batman joint, and it was the Batman. It was the Batman joint with the old Batman where he had the blue and gray on. So I had that one, and I had a GI Joe one, man.
Crazy, man.
Sure did, man. Yep, sure did.
Man, Blue, we showing our age. We metal lunch. We take to school, had the sandwich in there.
We definitely are, man. We definitely are.
Maybe some chocolate pudding and a juice.
Yep. Sure enough, man.
And my mother bought me a Franco Harris jersey, man. I almost became a San Diego Charger fan because she bought me a Franco Harris jersey and a Dan Fouts jersey. And I was rocking both of them, but then I said, now I'm a Steelers fan.
And you know what's crazy too, Kurt? I used to be, and I was torn, man, because I had a Denver Bronco, because my mother wasn't a big sports fan. Sports wasn't her thing. So I had a Denver Bronco gear, and I used to be like, man, I love these colors, man, and I used to be like, man, this is what it is right here, I love the Broncos, but my grandfather, boy, he wasn't having none of it, man. None of it. He was like, nah. He was like, nah. He was like,
crazy.
Yeah, he was like, nah, you a Yankee fan? Cause my uncle and them, they Mets fans. And my grandfather was having none of that, boy.
And people don't know how big the Yankees are in the area, Blue. We call Yankee Stadium detention convention because with the Yankees, it's either World Series champion or it's been a failed season.
Yep.
Like this year, they won 100 games, over 100 games. Anything less than the World Series championship is a failure. Yep. That's how spoiled we are as Yankee fans.
Yep. Yep. People don't understand it, man. They don't understand the rivalries. They don't understand what it means, man. But it's funny, right? Because I talked to somebody and I was like, hey, man, you going to go to a 49er game with us? And he was like, nah, man. I said, oh, you don't like the 49ers? And he said, it's not that. He said, over here, man, you know what I'm saying? If you're a Raider fan, you don't go to 49ers games. I said, what? He said, it's serious, man. You don't go to 49er game. So I said, wow, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
People take it a little too far. It's okay to have a rivalry like Ohio State, Michigan, which is huge. But when people getting beat up at the stadiums and all that, they take it a little too far, man. You can have a rival jersey on. You can, like the Patriots and the Jets, New England jersey and New England Patriot jersey and New Jersey, you get beat up, man. So they take it a little bit too far. Philly fans are the worst. Raider fans are bad too, but it shouldn't go that far.
Let's get into this, man. Our special guest is going to join us in a few minutes, Kurt. So,
okay.
Let's go ahead and get into this, man. These betting odds that they have Danny Garcia far more feasible opponent to beat Errol Spence than Shawn Porter, which is ironic to say the least in my mind, because Shawn Porter beat Danny Garcia, and I thought he did it pretty convincingly. I thought I had him winning by at least 2 rounds. And so to have him, you know, and their reasoning is styles make fights. And they said that, you know, his style, and the fact that Errol Spence had such a tough outing with Shawn Porter, that they feel like Errol Spence's stock has dropped, and they like Danny Garcia because of his power. These are the betting odds in Vegas. This is one of the guys that sets the betting odds in Vegas that's saying this, and they saying now when they before the Shawn Porter fight, if they would have opened up the betting odds with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence before the Shawn Porter fight, that it would have been 50-50. But now after that fight, it's clear favorite for Terence Crawford. They will open up with a wide margin for Terence Crawford. What's your thoughts on that, Kurt?
Well, first of all, when did Danny Garcia turn into Roberto Duran, Salvador Sanchez, and Ricardo Finito Lopez all rolled up in one? Is this the same Danny Garcia, the one that lost to Lamont Peterson, was given a decision, or the one that was outboxed by Mauricio Herrera in Puerto Rico, and because you was in Puerto Rico, you got the gift decision? That Danny Garcia, you know, he's a good fighter and all that. You know, he showed me against Matisse, but that was at 140. You know, he beat Granados and Bam Bam Rios, but that was expected. He has 2 losses against elite fighters. You know, Danny is a good fighter, good left hook. You know, he knocked out an old Morales, but I thought Shawn Porter schooled him. I thought Shawn Porter's game plan, in and out, brawl a little, boxed a little. I thought he beat Danny, you know, 7 rounds of 5, 8-4, you know, 7 rounds of 5, I would say. You know, that may be close, but he was in control of the whole fight, put it like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Though Danny won some rounds, but Porter was in control, and then, you know, he loses to Thurman, where people forget Thurman hurt him in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Hurt him with an overhand right, you know, but Danny got a good chin. He recuperated very well, and he could have got Danny out of here, but Keith Thurman let his foot off the gas,
mm-hmm.
you know, and became passive in the second half of the fight, you know. But I don't know where they get these odds from. They love Danny, it seems, but they're wrong. I ain't saying Spence is going to railroad Garcia, but he should win convincingly. But every fight has its own personality. 2 of the same fighters can fight 10 different times. 10 times it could end up 10 different ways. So you don't know. But on paper, it don't look like he'll beat Spence because he doesn't have the athleticism and the speed that Shawn Porter has. You know, Shawn Porter is a very deceptive fighter. You know, he's very deceptive. Danny Garcia is straight up and down. You know, no preservative, no special effects. He's a good basic fighter, not to demean Danny Garcia because he's on a certain level. But I don't see them odds, man. You know, it must be Danny twin sisters giving them odds in Vegas.
Yeah, I can't see it, man. I just can't see it. I don't understand it. It's styles make fights, and the fact that Shawn Porter has aggression and comes for all 12 rounds should be the difference between him and Danny Garcia. Not to mention, just 2 fights ago, he just beat Danny Garcia convincingly. So I don't understand. Danny Garcia beat Adrian Granados, and that gives him a better chance to beat Errol Spence than Shawn Porter? I don't understand that, man. Hey, Chris, can you do me a favor? Put the fan. Sorry, y'all. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it at all because if anything, I think that Danny Garcia's style is more suitable for Seth, we'll take calls in a second, man. We're gonna have a special guest come on, Seth. Salute to my brother Seth Rosenoff. You can put it on this lowest. But I would think that Danny Garcia's style meshes with that of what Errol Spence does. He's flat-footed. He's right in front of you. He does hit hard. but he gets hit, and like you said, Kurt, he was hurt versus Keith Thurman. Like, I don't understand this. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't seen Errol and Keith Thurman, but we've seen Shawn Porter versus Keith Thurman. We saw Shawn Porter versus Danny Garcia. We saw Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence. And would he lost to Keith Thurman by a round? 2 rounds? Even Keith Thurman said he won by a round. He lost to Errol Spence. The difference was the knockdown, right?
Yep.
He lost to he beat Danny Garcia. So how could that be possible? You know, it almost makes you think, like, what does Vegas know that we don't know? I don't understand that, because I would think that I understand that Danny has a left hook and is powerful, but I mean, I feel like Danny Garcia is tailor made for Errol Spence. What you think, Kurt?
Yeah, because when you really break down the styles, and Danny notable wins, Morales was old, slow, and Adrian Granados was made to order, coming up as a smaller fighter, couldn't get out the way of punches, like the brawl on the inside, you know, and Rios, who was ring worn, you know, and couldn't get out of the way of punches. You know, that's Danny at his best. You have to be like a mannequin for him to hit you. But if you give him some athleticism, this is where things start to differ. Mm-hmm. You know, and Porter, like I said, Porter outboxed Danny. I was surprised. I was like, whoa, he mixed up his attack. That was a beautiful game plan. Then he lost to Thurman, and that wasn't Thurman's best performance. I thought it was a subpar performance because of Thurman's lack of temperament, killer instinct. He allowed Danny to get back in the fight. It wasn't Danny was a barn burner. You know, it was all Thurman. He coasted in the second half of that fight. But Earl is not going to coast. Earl is going to bring the fight to him. Mm-hmm. And if he's not strong enough to deal with Earl, Earl's going to run right through him, because he don't got to deal with anybody like Porter. And people, when you have athleticism and skills like Porter and Crawford, certain fighters, if you know what I mean, a perpetual and rhythmic motion, it's hard dealing with those guys.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
you know,
Fidel,
that's why it always becomes a 50-50 fight.
Right. Fidel Mercado said, I hope I'm saying your name right. You guys know I can't read. Mercado. He said Danny beat Thurman, in my opinion. I didn't see that. I don't know anybody else that saw that. Keith Thurman coasted the second half of the fight, but he could have got Danny Garcia out of there. The way he started off the fight in the first 5 rounds, it looked like Danny Garcia was on the verge of getting stopped. So I don't know how you could see Danny Garcia won that fight. Anthony Bolton, salute. Subscribe to the channel, guys. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, man, subscribe to the channel right now, man. We got a special guest coming on again, as we always do. We had Derrick James on, trainer of Unified Welterweight Superstar Boxer Errol Spence Jr. yesterday. We had Deontay Wilder on. We had Kenny and Shawn on right before the fight. We had Jalen Walker on. When we got more special guests going. So, man, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, man. You don't want to miss what we bringing to y'all. Got my special guest, my co-host with me, Kurt Anderson, a.k.a. Kurt Sugar, a.k.a. the historian in the building. You know, on a daily basis, we take calls. I know you guys we want to get to a lot of calls and things of that nature, but the fact that we bringing on special guests and the fact that we have what we thought was going to be extended time, 2 hours. 2 hours seemed to be short time for us, Kurt. You know, so you know, just be patient, and as we grow, we will be able to at least get to. My goal is, Kurt, to get to at least 80% of the callers, man. You know, so but like I said, I got to get a system to where I can screen the callers, because as you guys see, we had a troll call in yesterday. We can't have that when we got special guests on. We cannot have the special guests feeling uncomfortable or being disrespected. So I got to be able to, you know, get to a place where I could screen these calls before they come in. So that way you guys could call in and ask the special guest a question, because I want to get to that point. But for right now, just drop comments in the comment section. If you guys have a question for our special guest, you'll see who he is once he come on. But You know, you guys gotta, you know, just be patient. We haven't been here a full 2 weeks, and look at the progress we're making. So just be patient. Give us time, man. But yeah, I just think that styles make fights, and I think that I would think that Danny Garcia is tailor made for Errol Spence. I would think that Vegas would see that, but obviously Vegas feels like Shawn Porter exposed Errol Spence, and they said it. You know, they said, you know, listen, due to the fact that his outing with Shawn Porter, and another thing about that is I don't like it is because it's not giving Shawn Porter his credit. Once again, it's not giving Shawn Porter his credit. Oh, he had a bad outing against Shawn Porter, so his stock dropped. Well, every person that stepped in the ring with Shawn Porter had a bad outing, even if they got the W. Am I right, Kurt?
You're exactly right. I'm starting to feel like Shawn Porter is one of the most underrated fighters in boxing. Even though we call out his name, this man is not getting his full credit. Spence was dominating everybody before Shawn Porter had a 12 fight knockout streak before Mikey Garcia took a 4-time world champion Mikey Garcia and reduced him to rubble, in the words of Nino Brown.
Right.
And then fight Shawn Porter, and Shawn Porter took him to the limit, man. And nobody wouldn't have got up for that left hook, and he didn't even go all the way down. But like I said, Shawn Porter is a very good fighter. I have more respect for Shawn Porter because I said, man, look at his foot speed. His feet was better than Spence, man. When Spence had him in the corner, he would bounce off those ropes and spin Spence. And that's Berta Duran style. And I seen a little Henry Armstrong. He reminds me of this fighter from Texas named Frankie Warren. Call him Tequila Frankie Warren. He was fighting on the inside like that, but better. And he was countering Spence, and out jabbing Spence. Man, Spence just showed his mettle. There was no losers in this fight, even though Porter lost his championship. To me, he's still a champion, and I'm a guy that don't believe in more victories.
Yeah, I mean, it's now it's becoming borderline disrespectful, in my opinion. Now it's becoming borderline disrespectful. I mean, this article in Vegas just totally just dismissed Shawn Porter. It was like they expected Shawn Porter to get railroad, and it didn't happen. So nobody's saying, well, you know what, Shawn Porter, proved that he could have the same effect and be effective against any fighter. You see what I'm saying? He could be effective, and his style could be effective against any fighter. Instead, they continue to say, well, Errol Spence's stock dropped and Danny Garcia's stock rose. Huh? Danny Garcia lost to Shawn Porter clearly. At the very least, I had Shawn Porter winning by 2 rounds. I even texted and I told Shawn Porter, I say, yo, champ, I thought you won that fight easy. And he said, Shawn Porter's humble. He said, thanks, man. He was like, but I think it was close. But he won that fight easy, man. You watch it, and he just humbled. You know what I'm saying? Shawn Porter outboxed Danny Garcia. He was confusing Danny Garcia in the whole first half of that fight, in my opinion. Danny Garcia looks extremely confused because he expected Shawn Porter to just come out and just be in his chest, and he didn't. He just outboxed him. He out-jabbed him. He out-counterpunched him. I mean, like, what are we watching here? And that was just 2 fights ago. This wasn't 2 years ago. This was 2 fights ago. I mean, how soon do we forget? You understand what I'm saying? Like, the politics of the sport of boxing is starting to rear its ugly head once again when you see stuff like this, because there's no possible way that Vegas could see Danny Garcia that much, because the closest Shawn Porter got in Vegas betting odds to beating Errol Spence was minus 800, Kurt.
Crazy.
And they got Danny Garcia right now at like minus 400, 500.
Somebody likes Danny Garcia a lot, man. But if you notice Danny Garcia's fan base, they ride with him because they like delusional. And Danny Garcia is far from a bum. He's a world-class fighter. But I was never crazy about Danny Garcia. I always thought he was a beatable. I've seen him lose to Mauricio Herrera. I've seen him lose to Lamont Peterson. I've seen him lose to Shawn Porter officially. I've seen him lose to Keith Thurman. Officially. You know, so I know we can beat when they match up Danny Garcia against the likes of Fernando's. I already knew what was going to happen, but he's going to get a rude awakening if he fights Spence. You know, now Spence part, he can't underestimate Garcia. You can't underestimate any fighter. That's the science of boxing. But Spence 8 game versus Garcia 8 game, it won't be close. That's just my personal opinion.
And not to mention, Kurt, I think that after the Shawn Porter outing and not being able to knock out Mikey Garcia, I think Errol is going to go back to the drawing board. So he's not going to get that same version if that's the, quote unquote the reasoning. He's going to get Errol. Errol's going to go back to his strength and conditioning. He's going to go back to, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Errol's going to have a point to prove, you know? So it's like, man, I just think that I just can't. I'm totally in disagreement with Las Vegas, man.
It might be his family, Blue, but let me say this about Garcia. Don't forget, he dumped Victor Polstar. He wanted no smoke with Victor Polstar when Victor Polstar was the boogeyman. And I don't care what anybody say. When Terence Crawford was moving up to 140, Danny Starr saw that and be like, you know what? I better move up. He didn't want no smoke with Crawford either, but he really dumped Polstar. Nobody was fighting Polstar until Terence Crawford took care of him. But, you know, like I said, nothing against Danny. I like Danny personally.
Me too.
But, you know, to me, he's a limited fighter. He's a good fighter, but it depends who they match him up with. He's going to lose. He already has 2 losses.
Yeah.
You know, and if he fights Spence, you know, more than likely, he's going to lose. If he fights Crawford, more than likely, he'll lose.
Yeah, I just, Georgia Peach, Denise, peace and blessings to you, Queen. Chocolate Giddy Up, salute. He said Danny versus Broner needs to happen. No, I think Danny Garcia knocked Adrian Broner out. Adrian Broner is there for the pickings. So, you know, but I like Danny Garcia. I plan on going up to his training camp. He told me I could. You know, I like Danny Garcia. I'm not trying to discredit Danny Garcia. I'm just trying to say that I believe it's disrespectful to discredit Shawn Porter the way they're doing. Like, why not just open the same bet odds? I mean, he did lose to him. You know what I mean? He already lost to Porter. Why not the same bet odds? You know, or is it a direct testament against Errol Spence? It's just, you know, they don't believe in Errol Spence the way they used to. I don't know, but I just think like it's disrespectful. And I don't think the bet odds should be that far apart anyway for any of them, because it shows that, you know, they're not that far apart from one another. They're not. Once they face off against one another, they're not that far apart. So, you know, none of them should be, obviously you have to have a favorite, but none of them should have that wide of a margin of favoritism over the other. I mean, we're talking about, it goes back to the agenda that's being pushed that, you know, one guy is just going to get rolled over by the other guy, and that's just not the case. Not at this level. I continue to say it. We're living in a time, and because we're living in it, we can't see, we're not watching from the outside looking in because we're living in a time. It's just like when you were living in the era of Ray Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, Duran, you know, so on and so forth. That golden era, you know, they didn't realize it was the golden era until they looked outside, you know what I mean, till it was over. And now everybody look back. And I'm telling you guys, man, this is the golden era part 2. We got Terence Crawford, we got Shawn Porter, we got Danny Garcia, we got Errol Spence, we got guys like Jerron Ennis coming up, you know, because he has like 23 fights, 24 fights. So, I mean, it's about time for him to start making noise as well. But we got Crawford, we got Pacquiao, we got Spence, we got Porter, you know what I mean? And these guys are facing Keith Thurman, and they're facing one another, and they're not winning by wide margins against one another. And it might be, hey, Curry, would I be crazy if I said that this era of welterweight clashes might be slightly deeper than the Ray Leonard Hagler earned that era?
This class is deep. You know, the biggest, it's a little top heavy, but you know, that the Leonard and Hearn era, you had like top 10 contenders that can fight. They wasn't scared. They had more grit. Now this group may be, when you talk about challengers from 15 to to 10 or 10 to 5 had a lot of talent, but the group in the 80s, they was real tough. Like we had fighters like Randy Shields and Pete Ramzani and Andy the Hawk Price. He was a Marvin Gaye fighter. People forget Marvin Gaye for a little while was in the boxing world. He used to manage fighters. He managed Andy the Hawk Price and Roger Stafford. People you may not know. What's the fighter from Milwaukee? Bruce Finch. They was good fighters, but fighters back in the day, like in the 80s and 80s, was full of grit. But fighters today are very talented. I mean, they wouldn't beat the hierarchy like Leonard and Hearns. They will wipe out Spence and Crawford. But this is a golden era we in. So, and they're fighting each other. And we don't really talk about that enough. We always complain when a fight is not made. But I think the Spence Crawford fight will happen. But the main thing in boxing as a whole, they are fighting each other.
Yep. Just to let you guys know, I'm not saying that I think Sugar Ray would beat everybody. I think Tommy Hearns would as well. But I'm just saying as far as quality fighters, this is you have the originals and you have the 2.0. You know what I mean? And I believe this is the 2.0 for this generation of fighters. And I think we need to accept it, live in the moment. You know what I mean? Instead of discrediting one to uplift the other one. And now I know that happened obviously in that era as well, but not to this extent because social media wasn't like this, So today's time, this era, the discrediting is to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? The memes and all types of stuff, man, is just outrageous. So it's to a whole nother level. So somebody said, heck no, Blue, the old school. Hey, first of all, we got 230 people here. Let's get 230 likes. Smash the like button. I hope we have I can't see how many likes we have, but smash the like button, man. We got 230 people. We should have 230 likes. So smash the like button right now, man. Get the likes to 230, man. If you have not smashed the like button, smash it. Okay. Yeah, man. But I'm just saying that this is an era that we should appreciate, is what I'm saying, because we got a lot of quality fighters, a lot of quality fights, a lot of quality fighters. So, what I'm saying? Hey, we got 230 people. Let's get 230 likes. Smash the like button. Corner Girl 66, peace and blessings to you, Queen. So, yeah, I would definitely favor, those guys over today's guys. But, just the era we in, I think that we're going to look back and say, man, that was a hell of an era too. You know what I'm saying? And so before we, appreciate it, let's live in the moment. You know what I'm saying? I thought Shawn Porter cleanly beat Danny Garcia, but he didn't blow Danny Garcia out. I thought Keith Thurman cleanly beat Danny Garcia, but he didn't blow Danny Garcia out as well. You know what I mean? I think the difference in the Errol Spence Shawn Porter fight was the knockdown, and it's just beautiful time in boxing, man. What you think?
Hey, I couldn't agree with you more, man. I want people to appreciate that we ask these guys everything, man. The fight A-level competition, and if the fight was a done Saturday night, we've been killing Spence and Porter. That builds up for nothing. But when you have a fight that's made, the anticipation of the fight is better than the fight itself. But the whole anticipation of a fight, when you have that and the fight lives up to expectation, then you got an all-time great classic, and you can store that and put it in the classic area. I know I have already. When you have two top-level guys in the same division, Leonard Hearns and McQuarrie and Curry and Robinson, Basilio, and those guys, man, Trinidad and De La Hoya, sometimes the anticipation overshadows the fight. The fight ain't that good, like Trinidad De La Hoya when he ran the last 3 rounds. But this was an old school fight, and I praise both fighters, man, and people want to see it again. You know, and I don't know what's going to happen again, but Earl got options. Earl is a pay-per-view fighter. Danny Garcia is a pay-per-view fight. The rematch with Shawn Porter is a pay-per-view fight. Terence Crawford is a pay-per-view fight. Canelo, if he goes there, is a pay-per-view fight, which I don't think it's going to happen, but it's just good speculation. But Earl is to a point where whatever he does, he's going to get criticized for. If he knocks the guy out in one round, we don't know if he can still box. If he go out there outboxing, he didn't knock the guy out. So, you know, criticism to boxers happen when a boxer's momentum is at an all-time high. Like if Deontay Wilder fight Ortiz and it goes 12 rounds, they're going to criticize him. And some, you know, boxing fans are fickle. You know, we were never satisfied.
Yep. Yep. So you know, man, I love the sport of boxing, man. You know, it's just like you know, it's just like guys complain about fights being made or not being made, and you know, we want to see certain fights be made, you know, but I'm still gonna watch the fights that's made. You know what I mean? Because I'm just a fan of the sport of boxing. Like you said, Kurt, you know, you're such a big fan of the sport of boxing that, you know, you're gonna you know, watch the zone. You know, we got people saying, I'm not ordering that because I don't like Eddie Hearn, or, you know, I don't like, you know, and that mean you're not a fan of the sport of boxing if that's the case. You know what I mean? Like, yes, do I disagree with some of the comments and some of the standpoints that they come from? Absolutely. But you know, but still at the end of the day, I'm a fan of the sport of boxing. So Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz Jr. is going to take place on the zone, right? And hey, listen, that's a fight that we all going to watch. Who's not going to watch Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua Part 2? See, so all those people, right? And so see what I'm saying? So Kurt, all those people that was stating that, oh, I'm not gonna watch the zone, I'm not gonna order the zone, you know, and making fun of the zone. Now you got arguably the biggest fight in the sport of boxing taking place on the zone right now. Are you not gonna watch that fight? Of course you guys are gonna watch that fight. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, you know, appreciate the sport of boxing. Appreciate that these guys risk their life every time they step through those ropes. You know what I mean? Appreciate what you're watching. You know, appreciate that the fact that you could get a fight of the year, an instant classic at the drop of a dime. At the drop of a dime, and don't even realize it. That's why we tune in. Yeah, you could get a dud. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could get a dud. But as well as you could get a dud, you could get a fight of an instant classic. People forget, right, Kurt? Arturo Gatti and you come down with Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. Hey, listen, those fights were barn burners. Those fights were enormous. You know what I'm saying? Those fights were instant classics, right? But nobody confused them with Floyd Mayweather talent. Nobody confused them with having the talent of Oscar De La Hoya. And I'm naming those names because that was that era. You know what I mean? Salute to my brother, Real Pitbull, Chico in the building. What's going on, Chico? You know, but, you know, I'm naming those names because that's the era. You know, nobody said that they were Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, Trinidad, or Shane Mosley. But guess what? When they fought, you tuned in. You know what I'm saying? Because you got action, right? You love the sport. And at the end of the day, that's what we have to respect and take into consideration. We love the sport. So I know at times we get a little antsy because we want to see Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Or we'd much rather see Errol Spence rematch Shawn Porter. But Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia is not a bad fight at all whatsoever. Right? It's not the fight that we want. It's a consolation prize because we would much rather see Errol Spence and Shawn Porter Part 2 if we don't see Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. But who's not going to watch Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia? You see what I'm saying? So, you know, none of us wanted to see Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. Am I right, Kurt? Nobody wanted to see that fight. Everybody wanted to.
Not.
Yeah, everybody wanted to see. Everybody was talking about, oh man, here go Joshua fighting another cherry pick. Oh man, look at Joshua, man. Here you go, man. Look, another cherry pick, another cherry pick. And that turned out to be an instant classic as well. That turned out to be an instant classic as well. And now the rematch has turned into the biggest fight of the year. I mean, if Shawn Porter and Errol Spence is not made immediately, see, Shawn Porter and Errol Spence turned out to be an instant classic, right? But people expectations of Errol Spence and what he was going to do to Shawn Porter superseded what took place. You see what I'm saying? So what happened was it was kind of a shock, like Andy Ruiz situation. You know what I'm saying? Like the Andy Ruiz situation. You know, so now everybody want to see it run back. And if it was announced to be the rematch, it would be considered the biggest fight in the year because the expectations of the fight itself. You know what I mean? But there's so many fights you don't want to because they're consolation prizes. You know what I mean? It's just like Pacquiao Marquez 4. Nobody wanted to see that. We was tired of seeing that. We wanted to see Floyd and Pacquiao. And then we saw something happen in that fight. Pacquiao got starched. We didn't expect it. Next thing you know, Pacquiao turned into a meme. Am I right, Kurt?
You're exactly right, because I'm guilty of it too, man. My wife is a nurse. She works in a hospital, and we all know that there's a lot of Filipinos that's in the medical field, nurses and so on. And she would say, "Hey, Kurt, you're not going to order the Pacquiao fight?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to see that." The day of the fight, I was like, "Tam, I'm gonna order the fight. To call the cable company and give me the fight." And so I'm guilty because curiosity kills the cat, especially in boxing. Boxing is such a compelling sport. It forces you to watch, man. You want to see what's going to happen. I couldn't stand there and be like, what happened? I couldn't take it, so I ordered the fight, and I'm glad I did. It turned out to be a classic moment. Marquez tucked Pacquiao into bed or laid him out like a Persian rug. So I'm glad I watched the fight.
Yeah, man. So that's the Kurt. I think we're not gonna have our special guest on, man. I think
Okay.
they got something going on, so I think we're gonna miss out on the special guest today, my peopleizations. But we'll definitely have I'm trying to work it out, but we'll definitely have a special guest on, these coming days, man. So, but yeah, Kurt, so we're gonna take call-ins. We're gonna get back to the call-ins.
Absolutely.
And hold on, let me get this set up, situated. So yeah, man, but man, we gotta appreciate, man, what's in front of us. We gotta appreciate it, man. It's expect the unexpected when you're dealing with the sport of boxing. That's what we have to do. Get used to. Like I said, we want to see we wanted to see and see we have a short memory. We're like cornerbacks in the NFL, Kurt. You gotta have a short memory. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yep. Because how soon we forget everybody was calling to see Canelo versus Triple G, right? Now nobody want to see it.
Yep. Right. But if the fight was made, people will watch it. I know I don't want to see it, but if they fall, I'll be watching it. I'll be front and center with potato chips watching the fight.
Yep. Oh, we got a caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to set it up so we can get you on the air. Okay. Okay, what's your name? Where you calling from, bro? It's not connected. Hold on 1 second. It's not connected. Let's get you connected, brother. Gonna get you back connected in 1 second, my brother. You there, my brother?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, what's your name? Where you calling from? Sorry about that, bro.
This is Wavy from Brooklyn.
What's shaking with you?
What's up? You big fan, Blue Blah. I like what you're doing on YouTube, yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man.
Yo, my whole thing is just like with the Danny fight is just like, you know what I'm saying, dude, I feel like they said that the Porter fight was a must-win for him and he lost. And he just beat Granados, and now he deserved like a unified shot. You know what I'm saying, dude's got to wait like a long time. Like, that's just not right to me.
Well, Danny, well, what happened was you talking about the mandatory shot for Danny?
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying like doesn't the unification, doesn't that like oversee the freaking mandatories and stuff?
Oh yeah, unification trump mandatories.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But the problem is, if Errol's not fighting Terence or Manny, there's no unification. So the thing is, he did Shawn Porter did satisfy the mandatory when he beat Yordanis Ugas. So and Errol Spence beat the champion for the belt. So he's awarded a voluntary because they don't have a rematch clause. If they had a rematch clause like Anthony Joshua do with Andrew Ruiz, then he would have to go right directly back into it with Shawn Porter, which I don't understand why Shawn Porter didn't have that rematch clause. But but yeah, so he have to fight a champion, and fighting Danny Garcia, who's his mandatory, right? Maybe and maybe it's a way of, which is kind of now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's a way for them to, to get to the Terence Crawford fight, because let's say he fought a voluntary fight right now, and that voluntary fight, because Terence Crawford has a fight already scheduled December 14th, so he's not going to be ready to against Kavakuskis, and that's not going to be scheduled to December.
Who is that guy?
The Mean Machine, man. Your guess is as good as ours, man. But they're not right. Terence Crawford is not going to be able to compete again until at least March, April, right? So that means Spence would be out the ring for at least 6 months, So I'm pretty sure he'll get another if he wants to get another fight in. But if he gets another fight in against a guy like, let's say he fought Ugas, that's not a mandatory. Or let's say he fought, a rematch with Shawn Porter, that's not a mandatory. So then when Terence Crawford is available, he won't be available, because then Errol Spence will have to satisfy his mandatory. So I'm thinking, maybe this is a way for Errol Spence, to be able to lock in with Terence Crawford in 2020, by fighting Danny Garcia, who is going to be the mandatory. So if he fight Danny Garcia now and get his mandatory out the way, now when he's available, Terence Crawford is available, they can make that fight. Am I right, Kurt?
Absolutely. You got to think about the schedule. You broke the schedule down, so I agree with you.
Right.
But Terence, he on ESPN or something, right? What is he on? He not the same promotion though. So how he going? He's not gonna fight.
Well, Terence Crawford.
We on a different platform. If that's the case, then like that's mad money that he's missing. Like, I don't understand.
Well,
the Joshua should have been fought Wilder. Like, and nobody don't care about Joshua no more. Like, unless he beat Ruiz. Like,
the thing. Go ahead, Kurt.
But let me tell Paula, any fight can be made. Remember something. One of the biggest fights in history was Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, and you had Don King, and Trinidad was with him, and De La Hoya at the time was with Bob Arum. And they hate each other. They have a long history with each other, not a good one. But they understood that boxing needed that fight, and they came together. Look at Pacquiao Mayweather, even Tyson and Holyfield. So any fight can be made. It's just about negotiating and who's going to be the B side and who's going to be the A side. It's about ego, basically. You know how fighters are. So any fight can be made. It's harder but it's not out of the question.
And I think it's very clear who's the A side now at this point. With the numbers that's coming out pay-per-view wise, and I just think it's abundantly clear who's the A side. Who? Errol Spence is the A side now. It's not even close.
But no. I'm just saying that Dante Boxing Nation.
Mm-hmm. My brother Dante.
Yeah, he put out a video and there was like the bookies got it at Terence the A side.
Yeah, well, it's not the bookies. Yeah, well, the bookies do. The bet odds have Terence Crawford not as the A side. They have him as the favorite to win the fight, but not as the A side.
So that means he's just gonna be Errol going to make him more money, right?
Well, no, he's not gonna make more. They just favor him to win the fight. Betting odds. That's all that is.
No, I'm saying Errol. They're saying that he's the A side, so Errol makes more money. Right?
Oh yeah. He's gonna stand to make more money. It's not even close. Terence Crawford, 2 pay-per-views combined, he did not even 150,000 pay-per-view buys.
I mean, but he stopped everybody at welterweight, and then
but look at
he's pound for pound, like pound for pound.
Yeah, no, he definitely. I think he's still pound for pound number 1 until proven otherwise. But look at the level of opposition he's fighting. He's fought at welterweight. He's fought Jeff Horn, Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez, and now he's gonna fight the Mean Machine.
But whether anybody want to say Jeff Horn, he was undefeated, he was champion. He was fighting at 160 before. He's not little. He's fighting at middleweight now.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Horn was not little.
Yeah, but he's a big dude. But we gotta have quality over quantity. So he's a big guy in stature.
That's not easy. Because look what happened to Mikey when you came to see Spence. That's not easy. And you come up.
No, you're right. But it's still a level of opponent. Roy Jones went up and fought Ruiz at heavyweight. He didn't fight Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. I mean, he get credit for the accomplishment, but still, you got to look at the quality of opponent. We give him credit for it, but you still got to look at who he did it with. You see what I'm saying? So there's different levels there's different levels in the sport of boxing, man.
But like you just
for instance, Canelo Alvarez went up and fought Rocky Fielding for the 168-pound title. He didn't fight David Benavidez. He didn't fight Caleb Plant. He didn't fight Anthony Durrell. He didn't fight Caleb Smith. He fought Rocky Fielding, who nobody knew of. Now he's gonna get credit for beating Rocky Fielding, who was incredibly bigger than him.
Yeah.
But he didn't fight a monster. You know what I mean? Hey, but we're gonna have to get to the next call. All right, my guy.
All right, appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Cole, don't be a stranger.
All right.
Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Bo One coming from Indianapolis.
Salute to my brother Bo One. What's shaking with you?
Hey, it's all gravy, man. We here, and we breathing. Hey,
Yes, sir.
salute, Kurt.
Peace, bro. Indianapolis, man. Black Expo.
Oh, you know it, man. Hey, check it out. As look at the last week's fight. Y'all tell me, this has been a thought for me. I don't feel like Earl could have fought Porter any different than the way he fought Porter was the way he was going to have to fight to win the fight. I don't think he could have outboxed Porter and actually won the fight. And it's crazy because everybody that fights Shawn Porter, they get a hell of a dog fight, man. This little strong, this dude is strong, man. You look at the way he's built. He's not atypical of, I guess, you look at your other fighters in the past, at welterweight, the way he's built and stuff. But, man, the dude was strong, and you could just see it in the fight. As big as Earl was, taller, having a height advantage, a reach advantage, I just don't think he could have beat Porter trying to box, man. I just don't think that it was going to happen like that. I feel like the only way that man was going to win that fight was the fighting the way that he did. Outside of that, I just don't think Porter would have been an ugly fight. I think if he would have tried the boxing, and I just feel like he probably would have lost just because Porter's aggression. So what y'all, give me your input on that. I know some of the brothers probably think I'm crazy for saying that, but after looking back, that's just kind of, what that was my thoughts after the fight was over. Damn good fight.
No, I'm in 1,000% agreement with you. So I'll let my brother Kurt cook on that, because I've been uttering the same sentiments you just said. So I'll let my brother Kurt cook on that first. Go ahead, Kurt.
Absolutely, caller. Good points you made. Porter is an expert of making you fight his fight. Kell Brook held him, didn't let him get off because it was a certain fear he had of Porter. Porter work rate is real high. He just wears you down, and it's the physical pressure, but it's a psychological pressure that goes with Shawn Porter's style. It's grueling. It's a throwback. When you look at certain pressure fighters in history like Rocky Marciano and Joe Frazier, Mike Tyson, they was beating people mentally because every second of every round is pressure. You can't relax. You can't fight at your own pace. So that's a testament to Earl to say, you know what? Tonight, Gary James, I got to go to war. I don't want to hear what I got to do, no game plan. Certain fights are like that. They have their own personality where some nights you're just going to have to go to war. You're going to get hit. You might get hurt. You might get knocked down. It could be, different. Earl could be like, oh, look at Earl footwork in the rematch. But we don't know until we see it. We can only speculate. But Saturday night, it was a war of attrition, and Porter made Spence fight like that. But on the flip side, Spence said, you know what? I'm going to beat him at his own game. I'm going to go to war with him. Sort of like Leonard and Duran, the first fight. Leonard refused to box. He wanted to show people I'm just not just a pretty boy. So with Spence, it was like, it was a contrast, polar opposites. He outboxed Mikey. And then in the next fight, he took on a tough, rugged, rough, throwback type of fighter in Porter. So good points you made.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we're going to get to... Go ahead, brother.
I was going to say real quick, man, as people talk about Danny Garcia, whether he gets the fight or he doesn't get the fight, to kind of echo what you were saying, Blue. All right, man, I don't necessarily want to see Danny fight Spence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the third thing is next year, later on down the line. I'm not going to get too wound up on it, but I do expect to see it at some point. But for everybody who wants to write Danny Garcia off, like y'all say, and like any real boxing fan knows, styles make fights. Danny's kind of flat-footed, man. I think he's got enough power to hurt anybody, but you don't know what's going to happen until they step on that canvas and the referee let them go. So, like you said, man, as long as we get to something that's formidable, I can roll with it until, what we get comes along. So that's all I want to say. Hey, man, y'all keep doing what y'all doing, brother. Hey, I'm gonna keep on supporting.
I appreciate you, bro. My brother, Bo One. Right. Appreciate you, man.
No doubt. Salute. No doubt. Peace.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, Blue, what's going on, man? It's LV live from Harlem, man. How you feeling?
Oh, Harlem has stepped off in this building, man. What's shaking?
Yo, my man, I called the other day. I heard you say you was from 155. I ain't catch that, man. My bad. I'm from 129. I'm 7 from Lex, my man.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm on 155th and 8th, man.
Okay,
Colonial.
You by Polo Ground.
Yes, sir. Colonials, right there. Yep.
Yeah, I got you. But yeah, I just want to touch on this, man. I'm a big boxing fan like you guys are. But my biggest issue is Crawford, man. Like, I think, Blue, my frustration is this. Everybody keeps on talking 140, 135, 140. This is 147. He hasn't done anything up here. Up here on 147, all the killers is on PBC. All the killers. He ain't touched none of them.
Mm-hmm.
But he over on that side fighting cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it he fighting cupcakes, Blue, when he thinks he's supposed to jump the line and fight the top dog because of what he did at 140?
Mm-hmm.
So all the other dudes behind Spence, like Porter, Garcia, Thurman, even Ugas telling him, whoa, hold up, homeboy. You got to come through us first to get to that because we got carte blanche before you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you knocked off, what club fighter you knocked off, meaning Jeff Horn. Like, that's a club fighter. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he ain't feared and fought nobody, Blue. I don't care what he did at 140. Everybody know the top tier division where the best fighters are is in 147. Then you go up to 154. Then we go on so on and so forth.
Right.
All the cats at 147 can knock off anybody down there at 140. The top dudes G4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so. So how is it you come here? I'm just saying, if we thinking about it, Blue, we get it. We understand the politics. But if you think about it, Blue, and you break it down, he got to go through the gauntlet, just like the other dudes did. Spence going through the gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it you saying I want Spence, I want Spence, I want Spence? Spence like, look, man, I'm going through the gauntlet here. You ain't even gonna play August.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it you want to come for me, but you ain't even take care of them cats? And those are top dogs. So how the top dogs, they look at him like, yo, my man, we got next.
Mm-hmm.
You got next. We don't care who you dealing with. You got to come over here and come to us before you get to that, because we want that prize too. We want that check too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you sit there and you think about his mindset, it sounds crazy to me. I get it, I understand the politics, I understand what we see, right? But as you know, Blue, like you saw in the fight, we got to see these cats in the ring. We don't really care what you did against Cupcakes. That's nice, you know what I mean? That's great dressing, because you ain't really fighting nobody. But how are you going to fight? Because Terence Crawford, he plays a bully in there, like he plays a mean guy.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you fight when no one's scared of you, man?
Right.
How do you fight them when no one is scared of the bully? You sticking your tongue out and they knocking your head off. Now what we gonna do?
Right.
Now after that, what we gonna do now? You doing all that? What we gonna do now? Now we gonna see who he really is, but we don't know yet, Blue, because he ain't gotten in with those cats yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that I don't think I'm EJ saying I love everything about boxing, but I like EJ. But my thing is that we ain't saying Terence Crawford can't fight him. It's not that. It's just that we ain't seeing with the top dogs yet. EJ went all across the border to knock off Kell Brook, who a lot of dudes felt was one of the top dudes. And he could beat a lot of cats at 147, because 147 is just different from 140. Mm-hmm. We don't care about 140 and 135 when he was fighting them little boys. We don't care about that. Mm-hmm. You up here with the top dogs. Mm-hmm. So now you got to go through it. It's no disrespect. We like you, man. We love what you did down there. But now you up here, which is totally different. This is totally different waters, Blue.
Yeah, and some of those accomplishments took place at 135 as well.
Right. So you don't. But it's different, Blue. There's different sharks in this water, man.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right, and that's why I say, I love Terence Crawford, but when you look at, this is why I continue to say, Errol has closed the gap on him, and now it's surpassing him, right? Errol has a instant classic fight with a quality opponent, right?
Right.
He has a fight with a 4-division Mexican superstar boxer who came up one weight class. But if we can't discredit Errol Spence's fight with Mikey Garcia. If you giving Terence Crawford, you letting his past accomplishments affect what you believe who he is right now at 147, then you can't discredit Errol Spence for beating a guy that came up one weight class, because Terence Crawford's accomplishments was at 135 and 140. So you can't discredit him for beating Mikey Garcia, right? Because essentially we're saying if Errol would have went down, if he would have came up through the weight classes like Terence, then Mikey Garcia would be a quality opponent. So we can't say that, right?
Right.
And then on top of it, now if he's able to secure Danny Garcia would be better than if Errol Spence fights and beats Danny Garcia is better than anybody on Terence Crawford resume.
Right.
Only person that we have an issue with is, like my brother Kurt said, is Victor Postile, because Danny Garcia ducked Victor Postile. What you think?
Right.
What you think, Kurt?
Right, but Blue, you can give him Victor Postile, fine. We can give him that, but he done fought a whole bunch of other dudes. We ain't even talking about Gamboa. That was like 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, man. We at the point now where he's in a totally different division.
Yep. Hold on 1 second. Let's let Kurt cook on that real quick.
Oh yeah, I'm apologize.
No problem.
Kurt.
Yeah, it's that now what you're seeing, man. The pressure is really building for Bud to do something, man, or he's going to have an unfulfilled legacy, and that's not good with somebody's talent. It's very frustrating. When he just has a Gamboa, and that's a testament to Crawford's skill. We know he's good, really good. We don't know how good he is. He needs a legacy-defining fight, because now you have Errol Spence leaving him in the dust. It's not even a question who's the A side. Earl is on the upside, and Crawford's just at a standstill, man. And fighting Mean Machine where Earl is fighting Porter and Garcia. It's just not close, man. And he has to do something. Kell Brook can't make 147. If Spence fights Porter, if I was Bob Arum, you know what I'm saying, I would be trying to get a high profile opponent like Garcia. But Arum has the money. He doesn't want to spend the money. It's a difference because he didn't like how the Amir Khan promotion went. You know, they don't believe in Terence Crawford. See, that's the step when your promoter ain't willing to put anything behind you. They're willing to put other fighters, and you're clearly better than them, but you're like the redheaded stepchild. You know, that's how they're treating Terence Crawford on Top Rank. And see, the thing is, for the life of me, and I'm going to pass it to my brother Blue, for the life of me, why the hell did he resign with Top Rank? That's a mystery.
But you know what? I also think too, Blue, him signing with Top Rank, Blue, that says a lot to him who his character is. And I'm gonna kind of go with his direction because this is what I've been feeling for a while. I talk to my homeboys about it all the time. It takes a certain type of dude, Blue, to say, I'm gonna be my own boss. It takes a certain type of cat to do that. So I'm saying that to say because he could have easily said, nah, I ain't with it. I'm not doing that because even though I know it's a $3 million guaranteed or whatever, if I'm getting $3 million from you, Bob, what do you really get? Right? What do you? This is dollars and cents now. We talking, Blue. If I'm getting $3 million, I'm getting a flat rate of $3 million. What are you really getting? What's the back end on that? So mentally, mindset-wise, just business-wise, he's okay with sitting back, laying back, and letting it be what's going to be. And that, in a sense, I can't really respect. Whereas the PBC guys, they kind of, in some ways, they kind of got the blueprint for Floyd in the sense that, yo, look, I want $3 or $5 million, and I want everything else. Because I'm comfortable being my own boss because I believe in myself.
And you know what we got to get to, and we're gonna have to get to a next caller, my bro. But
hey, listen, no problem, Blue. Listen, man, I apologize to go wrong with it.
No, man. Listen, you already know. No, don't be a stranger, man. It's quite all right, bro. And I'm gonna answer your question.
Absolutely. All right, brother. Peace.
All right, cool. I want to get to his point, man. We have to come to the understanding. We have to come to this understanding, right? Some athletes just don't love the sport like we do. Some athletes don't love the money like we think they should. They don't value it like we think they should. Some athletes are very content with where they at and who they are. And I believe that we have to get to the understanding that that's who Terence Crawford is, right? We have to get to the understanding that Terence Crawford doesn't care about the money. He's happy. If you look at his Instagram, Terence Crawford is on his block in his old. He don't live in a mansion. He don't have Bentleys. He have, I believe, like Hellcat or something like that, Chargers, Challengers, something like that. You know, fast cars, classic cars. He still lives in his old neighborhood. You know, he's out in the neighborhood playing with the kids every day, wrestling with the kids, racing up and down his street block. He didn't move. He's content with where he's at. He likes who he is, right? And we are the ones that want to force a different lifestyle upon Terence Crawford. So, you know, we want to see the best fight the best. I believe his competitive nature wants to give us the best fighting the best. I believe, I don't believe that it's even for us. I believe it's just for him. As he said in that interview, he stated that Terence Crawford said this in an interview. He said, I just want to fight Errol Spence, even if he lost to Shawn Porter. This is what he said, Kurt. He said, if he lost to Shawn Porter, I want to fight Errol Spence just to prove that I'm better than him. That's for himself. That's not for us. Right? And so that means that his competitive nature for himself, you know, he got a Michael Jordan mentality, but he don't want all the fame and stuff that come along with it. He want to live a regular life. You know, I saw Terence Crawford doing his media. He did his media right before the Amir Khan fight. I was there, right? And he did his media scrum. He did his media scrum with ESPN, right, Kurt? And Andre Ward and everybody was there, and Tim Bradley. And this dude, they had to tell this dude to come, man. They were like, yo, Terence, man, what are you doing? You got to fight in 2 days and 48 hours because it was a Thursday before the weigh-in. You got to fight in 48 hours. What are you doing? Kurt, you know what this dude was doing? He was chasing the kids. He had brought, must have been about 20 kids, man. And I put this up on my YouTube, on the other channel. Y'all could go see it, and it's on my Instagram. He must have brought about 20 kids from Omaha, Nebraska with him, right? And this dude was running around the hotel downtown Manhattan, the hotel right across the street from Madison Square Garden. He was running around the hotel, Kurt, chasing the little kids and fighting with them. You know, wrestling with a whole groups of people. Thought there was groups of people fighting like it was a brawl. It was him and like teenagers and little kids, man. He was on the floor rolling with them. And they like, dude, you got to come in here and do your media scrum. And you got to fight in 48 hours. You could hurt yourself. You know, but he didn't even acknowledge that we was there. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just who he is, Kurt. That's just who he is.
Absolutely.
You know, so let's get to this caller, Kurt, then we'll finish that up. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Calling from Bakersfield, California, Blue. What's happening?
Salute to California, hey, man. What's good with you?
What's happening, bro, man?
Ain't nothing, man.
Just kicking back, kicking back right now, man.
Hey, man, let me tell you, man, that California weather, man, got me last week, man.
Oh, yeah, we right here in Central. We in Central, so.
Okay, so it's better over there?
Yeah. A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
Because when I was in L.A., man, and that, boy, I got sick, man. The weather here in New York is better than in L.A.
Yeah. You can say that, yeah.
That threw me off, bro. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you cook, man. I'm having personal conversation with you, brother.
Oh no, man. Hey, well, we glad, man. We just want to salute you, man.
Appreciate you.
We're glad what you're doing out there for us, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Appreciate you, King. But go ahead. You can cook.
I didn't hear you. What you said?
I said you could go ahead and cook whatever you feel like talking about.
Oh man, we just chopping it up. We was chopping, just listen to what you were saying. I don't think Danny a pushover though.
Right, me neither.
Everybody think I think it'd be a good fight.
Right. I think so too.
It'd really be a really good fight.
You know what it is, bro? It's not that it's not a good fight. It's just not the fight that people want. So it's a consolation prize. You know what I'm saying? So people are complaining about it because they want to see Errol Spence and Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just like, remember when and Kurt, you could test to this too. Remember when they made Floyd Mayweather and Miguel Cotto and everybody complained about it?
Mm-hmm.
Because we wanted to see Floyd and Pacquiao. And that was that was probably one of the better fights of Floyd Mayweather's entire career.
Yeah. That was a good fight, man.
Yeah.
We never seen Floyd get hit like that before.
Right. Nose bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Nose bleeding and everything, man. And that
Yeah, Floyd leaking.
That was a far more competitive fight than Pacquiao.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he made Pacquiao look silly.
Yeah, but we wanted to see the names. You know what I'm saying? We wanted to see him just standing in the ring. As long as we can see the two guys we want to see standing in opposite corners of each other, then we happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
And we forget about the quality of the fight. You know what I'm saying? What you think, Kurt?
Absolutely. Sometimes two styles don't mesh. Mayweather and Pacquiao, we waited a long, grueling 6 years, and the fight was a dud. It wasn't that good. One guy was just better than the other. And then Trinidad De La Hoya was another dud. It didn't live up to expectations. And then you have a fight like you did on Saturday, or Leonard Hearns won, that lives up to expectations. So, you never know what you're going to get, because certain styles just don't mesh for whatever reason. It's the science of boxing. I can watch the Ward and Gaddy fight every day. It was a treat. And like Floyd, Miguel Cotto, like my brother Blue said, people complain about that fight, but when they showed Floyd nose and mouth bloody, people started clapping and became entertaining because he was hit, and people wanted to know how he was going to respond. So boxing is weird like that, and people are fickle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what happens, man. But like you said, the Danny Garcia fight is definitely a good fight, man. It's definitely a good fight. And you know what, bro? It might turn into a classic because of the styles.
You never know. Like last week was a classic.
Yeah.
That's right. That was a hell of a fight, man.
And guess what? We might see Danny Garcia might be the first person to drop Errol Spence. And I know that's against popular, people gonna be like, what? Danny Garcia got a lot of power, man. And if you stand in the pocket, if you stand in the pocket with him too long, especially him throwing that left hook and Errol being a southpaw, so Errol's right jab is gonna come out and leave that left hook, leave him vulnerable for the left hook. You know what I'm saying? And that's Danny's. And Danny throw that punch, and he don't care what's coming back, eyes closed. He letting that punch go. He gonna let it fly. You know what I'm saying? Curry, am I right in that assessment?
You're right, man. Anything can happen in the sport of boxing. And I'm gonna tell you something. In 1986, Donald Curry was getting ready to fight Marvin Hagler. He was calling out Mike McCallum, man, Marvin Hagler, and other fighters. I mean, Donald Curry couldn't do no wrong. He was stretching people out, man. Beautiful technique and everything. He let the guy come from England. Lloyd Huntington was a rough and rugged fighter. He was a huge favorite. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, man. He beat the hell out of Donald Curry, man. He was like #1 and #2 pound for pound at the time. And people told, he said, I'm going to show all you Americans, I'm coming over to America, and I'm going to beat your boy Donald Curry. And he made Donald Curry quit on the stool. I was like, man, anything can happen. They used to call Showtime the network of upsets. Tommy Hearns got knocked out by Iran Barkley after, he cut both his eyes and crippled them with left hooks to the body. And Iran Barkley caught lightning in the bottle. He hit Tommy Hearns while he was looking at the canvas. I cried during that fight. So anything can happen. And on paper, Vince could beat. Vince could beat Garcia, but can you imagine Spence hurting Garcia and he come in and Danny Garcia catches him right on the chin with a left hook and down goes Earl? It could happen. So everything is possible.
It takes that one punch.
Yep. And think about it. Think about the classic that we could get if that was to happen and Errol get up and drop Danny and beat him. That would be like Joshua Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? We see.
The odds on that.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It would be. This is why I said with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford got mad at me. It's all good. This is what I think, right? I think that Bud is missing his opportunity and his greatest chances of beating Errol Spence because he continues to allow Errol Spence to garner more and more and more data and more experience. I think that Terence Crawford has the what it takes. I think he has the skill set to make the necessary adjustments in the ring to beat Errol Spence. He has the footwork and he has the power. He's accurate. He could do it, right? We know Errol continues to go into this high guard. He gets flat-footed. He gets defensive, And so those are the opportunities. That's what I see that I feel like Terence Crawford could exploit. But he continues to let Errol Spence. Errol Spence has been in there with a Shawn Porter, right? He knows adjustments that he needs to make, right? He's looking at that fight. He know what he couldn't have done. He know what he need to work on. He's been in there with a guy, Mikey Garcia, who was a counter puncher. Mikey Garcia got power, man. Everybody I talked to that sparred Mikey Garcia, including Terence Crawford, told me, he said Mikey Garcia got a lot of power. He has 154-pound power. So Errol's been in there with a guy, and we've heard this before. We've heard Marcos Maidana. He broke Marcos Maidana's ribs in sparring. There's rumors that he knocked out Brandon Rios out. And this is when he was at 126 pounds. You know what I'm saying? This is not even the 40-pound version of him. You know what I mean? We saw him crack Robert Easter. You know what I'm saying? So we know he has power, and he has a high ring IQ. So for him he's now Errol has been in the ring with that kind of fighter, and he's outboxed that kind of fighter. Now he's been in the right. He went to a hostile environment in the UK and snatched the belt from Kell Brook. He's been in adversity now with Shawn Porter, right? Shawn Porter backed him up. Shawn Porter made him look silly with his footwork. Shawn Porter was turning him and twisting him and spinning him out. I tell people, if Shawn had just remotely a little bit more power, I believe he would have been able to stop Errol Spence Saturday night.
He would have, because when Errol was putting him on the ropes,
tried to fight Sean's fight. Sean turned him around and started beating up him in the fight.
Exactly, right? And imagine if Shawn had more power. If Shawn had Terence Crawford power and was able to pivot him, turn him, because he was able to hit Errol with shots he didn't see because he was pivoting on him, right?
Let me ask you this, Blue. Let me ask you this.
But
You think Danny got that kind of power?
oh yes, sir. But Danny don't have the footwork and the speed.
No, he don't.
That's the problem. So Errol's gonna be able to see his punches coming more so than he did with Shawn. What you think, Kurt?
Absolutely. Footwork is essential. You know, like we used to say in the gym, a boxer without footwork is like a blind man without a cane. It allows you to position yourself and throw certain punches from certain angles. You know, and the worst thing, like Danny Garcia's feet is not that good. Canelo Alvarez's footwork is not that good. That's how you can beat them. Make them use their feet. They got slow feet. You know what I mean? You know, and fighters like Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford and Devin Haney, it's the athleticism and the footwork. When you watch Deron Ennis on Saturday, watch his footwork and his angles and his rhythmic and perpetual motion. Ali, Leonard Robinson, they all had it. Pernell Whitaker, Roy Jones. It's a special something that they have in their footwork that allows them to move left, move right, backward, forward, give angles. It's a beautiful thing, you know. So, you know, footwork is very, very important. It can be the X factor in the fight.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we're gonna have to let you guys go, man. We appreciate y'all, man. Call in, man. Don't be strangers, man. Every day we here, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Hey, we got a dude in the chat, right? Kurt, Andre the Black Kid 3000. He said, "Hey, Blue, you're extremely biased. Please tell us why. What am I extremely biased about? Please talk to us. Call in. That's what we want. We want you to call in, man. Call in and tell me why I'm extremely biased. We're gonna get to this other caller, and I hope you call in. Tell me your area code. What's your name? Where you calling from? I already know who it is, but what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, I'm gonna say this one time for your mind. It's Ty King Allah on my daily drive. I was shaking.
What's shaking with you, King?
Brethren, North stands out. Baltimore, South Avenue.
Listen,
what's good?
Hey, I told because I was down there on High Street in Brick Towers, so they throwing down. You know what I mean? Back in the 80s, man, shaking it up. My cousins and them, man, doing what I do. And they said, listen, we send you back to Brooklyn, man. You getting in more trouble over here in North. They took me back, and I wound up going to Tilden High and graduated, man, over there. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy back in them days, man. You know, I got good grades, but I was a bad kid. You know what I'm saying? In school, if my mom could understand, like, you get good grades, but, you know, you in trouble all the time. You hanging out with your cousins, and, you know, they got to remember Brownsville, they number projects, 80 blocks of projects, so I'm in the projects. You know, all in the projects. I was getting a lot of trouble. Then I started hanging with the dudes in the 90s over there, in the 90s. So I was going to school with the dudes that he slapped with. So it got I managed to graduate, and I'm still here representing the LDBC, and I'm in the building. What's going on? I want to talk to y'all about this Danny Garcia situation. Me personally, I love Danny. Danny from the Badlands. I got people over there in the Badlands. So I like them dudes over there, Spanish boys over there. They get busy. But anyway, Danny got power and a good ring IQ, but he's flat-footed. And like you said, he's tailor-made for Errol Spence. Tailor-made, you know. So, but like you said, if Spence go over there and start admiring his work, he's going to get caught with that left hook, and we're going to see something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he can't admire his work against Danny, because Danny going to flip the script and catch him with that left hook or that right overhand, and it's gonna be night Errol Spence. But hopefully, you know, we get a good show if it goes down. But I want to talk about this Terence Crawford situation. I disagree. I mean, I've seen Crawford, you know, get busy 135 and 140, dominate. I've seen him move up, you know, and get busy. You know, he's actually getting his body and power acclimated to the 147 division. But at the same time, if he would have gotten the ring with either Spence or Porter last week, he would have got knocked clean straight out. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. So they're 140. They're actually 147. He's not actually 147. He would have got he would have got his head destroyed by either one of them guys last Saturday night. That's my opinion. What y'all think on that?
Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, I agree with you, King, man. Go break down, man. And like you said, I said before, man, no fight at a high level is a pushover. If it happens, then that's fine. It just happened to be the favorite fighters on the top of his game. If Spence run through Garcia,
Right.
but like I said, Garcia is dangerous, and Spence has to be careful. Spence, I think he underestimated Porter. I think he underestimated his foot speed, even though they know each other, but he didn't expect that Porter, so it can happen with Garcia. You have to be mentally and physically ready because, see, now Spence is not the hunter like he was against Kell Brook. He's the hunted. So it's a different, mentality that you got to have. You can't sneak up on anybody. You got to be ready for him on there because now you're a pay-per-view fighter, meaning your opposition is going to be top notch. Maybe Danny will fight over his head. Get ready, and I'm fighting Spence, so I got to be in the top of my game. Any of those guys, you guys, on any given night can upset Spence, so he has to be ready mentally, psychologically.
I agree, man. I think that, and see, now these guys are they're biting at the bit, man. They want it now because he was hunting them down for so long. And it's just like a bully, right? When a bully is bullying kids in school, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's hesitant. It's not that they scared of him, but they hesitant to make a move. And then you get one kid that stands up, and he may not win the fight, but he just stands up to the bully, right? And then the other kids are like, you know what? It's not that bad to stand up to him. You know what I'm saying? And so now everybody want to take their opportunity because now they done stood back and watched the bully and they saw flaws in the bully's game. And now they feel like they could exploit it. Whether they could follow through with the game plan or not, they feel like they can, right? They feel like they got an opportunity. And so Danny Garcia is going to go into this fight with Errol Spence confident, right? He going to go in there and especially he sees, hey, listen, man, this dude stay in the pocket far too long. Right. And even he gets backed up. He let Mikey Garcia back him up at times. Mikey Garcia did back. Yeah, he let Mikey back him up. So then he gonna feel like I can back this dude up. And if I could land my left, because remember, we seen Shawn Porter hit him with some shots that he didn't even sit down on, but they snapped his head back, right? And they seemed to have effect on him. Right? Whether he was visibly hurt or not, his head got snapped back and it had effect on him. So imagine, and what did he do? He went into a high guard, right? And he just stood there and just took the onslaught, right? Imagine Danny Garcia lets one go and he stands there with a high guard. Imagine if Danny could slip one of them left hooks in and really shake him up.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's possible. Because they both flat-footed. Neither one of them are on their toes, and Errol tends to stand in the pocket too long at times.
Right. I agree.
So he's gonna give Danny opportunities, and see he's gonna give Danny more opportunities. And see, people don't understand and see they get mad because they just want to rave for Errol Spence, right? So now when you Shawn Porter didn't give Danny Garcia opportunities. Right, the slim bit of opportunities he did give him, he bounced in, he bounced back out. He bounced in, he bounced back out. You know what I mean? Because it's understood. Amir Khan, Amir Khan learned it the hard way, right? He stood in the pocket too long with Danny and got clipped, and was all she wrote. So did Lucas Matisse, right? And remember, another thing is people forget this. Lucas Matisse was the boogeyman at 140.
Exactly.
Right, and nobody wanted that action. That was the co-main event for Floyd Mayweather, Saul Canelo Alvarez. And remember, people thought Danny Garcia was the underdog in that fight.
He was. I remember that.
Right?
Exactly.
And Danny Garcia. So these are fights that Danny Garcia have confidence. Danny Garcia said, listen, Lucas Matisse was considered the hardest puncher in the sport of boxing. Top 5 at that point in time. And he stood up. Remember, he knocked Danny mouthpiece out. Boom!
I remember that.
Across the ring,
yeah.
right? And Danny withstood it. So what makes us think that? So Danny seeing this from Errol, and he like, I can stand in the pocket with him too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you see what Keith Thurman just said. Keith Thurman said it yesterday. He said, listen, Errol better be careful with Danny. He tweeted this yesterday. He better be careful. He said, Danny hits far harder than Shawn Porter do. It's not even close. That's what he said. What you think,
true.
Kurt?
Absolutely, man. It's not easy on this level, man. You know, and Danny, he's feeling confident. He wasn't confident before. A confident fighter is a very dangerous fighter. Earl is going to have to fight smart. I see flaws in Earl as well. I think he squares up too much. He stays in the pocket too long. He let Mikey back him up. You know, he's flat-footed. You know, that's why I said Crawford will beat Spence, you know, because of the footwork. You know, I just got finished explaining the essentials of footwork. But, you know, anything is possible. We talk Crawford and Spence, and boom, he gets knocked out by Dan in the shotgun. You know, last year I predicted upset. If Joshua and Ruiz can happen, so can Spence and Garcia, or any fight can happen. You know, we expect too much of A-list fighters. Like, they're going to run through all the fighters. Even Lomachenko had a hard time with Luke Campbell. Don't forget that, too. So anything is possible.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Taki, we got to get to the next caller because I'm hoping one of these trolls in the comment section call in.
Right. Hey, listen, man, you guys stand up, man. I'm doing my job. I got to go and punch out anyway. Hey, man, love you guys, man.
Appreciate you.
I'm sorry to hear tomorrow. You know how we do, man.
Yeah, yes, sir.
In, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, King.
Salute.
No doubt.
Peace. Hey, I'm hoping that one of these dudes call in, man. They got a lot to say in the chat, but don't never want to call in, man. So call in, man. What's his name? This kid, Andre, the black kid. Let's hope this is him. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, look out, Blue. It's your boy Ashy Knuckles.
Oh, what's shaking with you?
BBC.
What's shaking with you, Ashy?
Ain't nothing, man. I see you doing your thing. Hardest man working on YouTube.
I appreciate you.
Kurt, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Ashy Knuckles? Peace, bro.
Ain't nothing much. Hey, I just wanted to chime in on the subject at hand, man. I hear y'all breaking down, you know, a potential Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia fight. A bunch of good analysis from both you guys. But I probably got a slightly different take. Of course, he got to be aware of Danny Garcia because of the caliber of fighter that he's in there with, being of the fact that Danny Garcia is strong. He got very good timing. He is flat-footed, but the biggest thing is the hand speed and the timing and the power that sets him apart from a lot of opponents that Errol Spence been in the ring with. But I think when you look at a fight that may be a little bit similar, at least half the fight, it'll be that fight with Lamont Peterson. Not the first 6 rounds where Lamont elected to box with him, with Danny Garcia, but the last round, going into the championship rounds when Lamont Peterson banged it out with him and used his inside game and his defense. And we already see that Errol Spence has a better inside game and defense than Lamont Peterson, and it gets much harder. And Lamont was able to find Danny Garcia. So I just wanted to put that on y'all mind, that particular part of that fight, and see what y'all breakdown is on that, what your opinion is on that, and the fact that Errol Spence brings the southpaw stance to the game too for that particular fight.
No doubt. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. This is different, right? It's apples and oranges, and the reason I'm gonna tell you why it's apples and oranges is because Lamont came out with a high guard, just walking right into the Lions' den. He walked right into it. He walked right to Errol Spence. Danny Garcia, and this is another thing I see people not you see people in the comment section. They're saying Errol is not going to get beat with one punch. If you think that Danny Garcia only has one punch, then you're not paying attention to the sport of boxing.
No, he's two-handed.
He's two-handed, right? You know? He knocked out Brandon Rios with a right hand. That wasn't a left hook, right? And so, you know, he follows up. He throws the 1-2, right? And he throws them with bad intentions, and they quick. They come out quicker than his feet are very slow, right? He's very stationary. You know, he's something similar to a better version of Anthony Joshua, right? Because he has stamina issues himself, but he lets his hands go, and he's not afraid to let his hands go. Lamont Peterson walked in the Lions Den with a high guard. He was throwing peekaboo punches, and when I say peekaboo punches, he was throwing punches. Yeah, he was throwing punches still with a high guard up, and he was chopping. You know, that's Lamont's style. You know what I mean? And he kind of got like his back is bent like a cat. You know, and he's hiding his defensively. You know, he's trying to protect his body. That's not Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is going to use his jab.
No, I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking about him being compared to Danny Garcia. I'm talking about Errol Spence using a similar game plan to what Lamont used against Danny Garcia.
I misunderstood what you said.
Got a good defense on the inside.
I misunderstood what you said, bro. Pardon me. I missed it, bro. I missed the boat, bro. I totally missed the boat.
All good.
But I understand what you're saying. Yeah. But yeah, that style that Lamont is bounces more on his toes than Errol. I can't see Errol using that style because Lamont is more versatile than Errol Spence when it comes to.
Yeah, he got some fluidity to
it.
He got range to his game. You're right.
Not that Errol can't, you know, but I believe that would, you know, he likes to sit on his punches, and that's going to require him to use a lot more energy to be on his toes. And remember, people was crying and saying, "Oh, Lamont ran the whole fight." You know what I'm saying? Errol's not going to do that. Right. I mean, that game plan is successful. With and you know what, bro? You're 1,000% right, because that's the game plan to beat Danny Garcia. That's what Shawn Porter used, you know, to beat Danny Garcia. So you're 1,000% right. I totally missed the boat on what you were saying. What you think, Kurt?
The way to beat Danny Garcia, Spence has it. Jab. I wouldn't overshoot my jab. Spence overshoots his jab sometimes. He did it against Porter and Kell Brook, but you know, make Danny use his feet. Box him from the outside. Pick your spots. You know, when you're going to go into battle, be smart about it. Be aggressive, be smart. But also, your jab would throw Danny's timing off. So I would jab over time and pick my power shots to beat Garcia. I wouldn't fight him like Peterson, you know, walking into the fight. Then you're giving Danny a chance to land something big, you know, something like just, you know, just land, you know. But I will use my jab. I will box smart. I will be aggressive at times, maybe dig a hook to the body, you know, take something out of him, man. But my jab will be my most important punch because you disrupt Danny Garcia's timing by jabbing him.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we got to get up out of here, bro. But I appreciate you calling my brother Ashy Knuckles in the building. What's good? Hey, listen, don't be a stranger, bro. Call in, man. You know what I'm saying? But we got to get up over. I didn't even realize it was 8:07, man. The general was 7-8 on, man. But I appreciate you, man.
I'm about to tap in with 7-8 right now. So, hey, man, I appreciate the call, man. Shout out to the LDBC.
Appreciate you, champ. Don't be a stranger, man.
All right.
Peace.
Later.
All right, Kurt, you want to get us up out of here, man?
Oh, man, time just flies when you're having fun, man. It's been 2 hours, man, and great show today, man. You know, our special guest has something to do, but you see how well we could hold it down, man. I think the chat, as always, man, and your call-ins and your questions, man, I'm grateful to share my knowledge with you guys. Thanks for listening. You guys give me so many accolades, man, but we are a brotherhood, man. Nobody's better than nobody, you know. So, you know, my brother Blue, the Capo, a legend, man, and the show is popping, and I'm just glad to be a part of it, man, and we shall return tomorrow.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hey, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and get all the new notifications. Follow us on Instagram, Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all we got for y'all. Go over to 7A Sports TV, the general. Check out 7A Sports TV right now. That's all we got for y'all, man. Salute. Peace.
Peace.